he's the first person that I have personally watched of an ASMR artist do true crime videos. So, basically, you just kind of like review, like not review, but like you give stories, facts, etc. about either serial killers or like truly awful crimes that have happened and maybe remained unsolved or became like pretty big cases, or maybe didn't even become big cases, but you're like, you were interested, you're sharing the facts and whatnot. Definitely, if there's more people who make true crime videos, like leave their names down below in the comments, because I don't want to like steal anybody's video ideas or credit. I mean, I know that there's several podcasts and whatnot out there, and just regular YouTube videos in general, and I'm sure documentaries about this kind of stuff, but you know, like as far as ASMR goes, I don't want to steal anybody or take credit or not give credit where credit is due. So the person I watch is Soft ASMR. I've seen her do a few of them. So if you know anybody else, definitely leave them down below. But today I thought that I would do I have my computer right here, so if you kind of see me like looking, that's why. I thought that I would do Richard Ramirez. He is known as the Night Stalker, I believe that's what he's known as. His name is Richard Ramirez. He's dubbed the Night Stalker. The reason I chose to do him is like for the first video is because I recently watched American Horror Story. I believe it's VHS, or is it something else? Let me see. American Horror Story. Let's look that up. Oh, it's AHS, American Horror Story 1984. So that was like the most recent one that they have put out. And basically they had him in there because, I don't know, American Horror Story is like kind of like I don't want to say sick and twisted, but it kind of is show about just like, I don't know how you even explain American Horror Story, like hauntings, just weird twisted like stories and compilations about theories, and I don't even know, like the first series is called Murder House, so there's like a story behind this house that has multiple killings, and the ghosts live there and they taunt the family there, but the ghosts have like abilities to see them and whatnot. Like it's all kind of like crazy. Like if you've never watched American Horror Story, you're probably like, what is she talking about? But if you have, you know that it is just so crazy and weird and twisted. But American Horror Story 1984 was basically about the 80s, this camp that they opened, and there was somebody who was called Mr. Jingles, and there was like this big old murder at one of the camps. Like I can't remember the name of the camp, but there was like a whole bunch of murders and whatnot. And basically it tells like the story of that, and like how the people that died there become ghosts and whatnot, and they reopen the camp. And there's two serial killers going on. There's the Night Stalker, who's actually based on a true person with Richard Ramirez. So he's one of like a really big serial killer that they show in that series. And then Mr. Jingles, who is just, I believe, somebody that was made up for the show. And Richard Ramirez is actually real, and they kind of like fight in the show to see like who's the best serial killer kind of thing. They kind of like team up in the end. It's kind of twisted. I did not know that actually Richard Ramirez was real until like I started looking up more about American Horror Story, because I just wanted to know like why it was so demonic and creepy. So that did come up, but I do have my computer right here, so you might hear like clicking and tapping because I'm still gonna be like looking up a few facts. Let's get into the video. Basically, Richard Ramirez, I'm on biography.com, so it gives like a biography about him and what he's done and whatnot. So his name is Richard Ramirez. He was born on February 29th, 1960. He was born in El Paso, Texas, and he died on June 7th, 2013. He died in Green Brae, California. He was nicknamed the Night show. So I guess that's why he ended up being actually very interested in that. He was apprehended in August 1985. Ramirez was sentenced to death at the conclusion of his trial in 1989. He spent the remainder of his days at California's San Quentin prison before dying from cancer on June 7th, 2013 at age 53. Oh wow, so he was like alive, like when I was alive. Like obviously I know that, but like I didn't know that he lived like that long. Like I was June 7th, I was 14 at that time. That's crazy. Richard Ramirez was born Ricardo Leiva Munoz Ramirez on February 29th, 1960 in El Paso, Texas, the fifth child of Mexican immigrants, Mercedes and Julian Ramirez, known as Richard or Ricky Ramirez, reportedly sustained multiple head injuries at an early age after he was knocked unconscious by a swing at the age of 5. He began experiencing epileptic fits. Oh wow, that's pretty bad. As an adolescent, Ramirez was heavily influenced by his older cousin, Miguel, who had recently returned from fighting in the Vietnam War. The two smoked marijuana together as Miguel told Ramirez about the torture and mutilation he had inflicted on several Vietnamese women, corroborating these stories with photographic evidence. At age 13, Ramirez witnessed his cousin murder his wife. Oh my gosh. That is crazy. So he had like a pretty bad like upbringing. Well, not like a bad upbringing. I mean, it doesn't say that he was really like tortured or like beaten, but I mean, going through like epilepsy and like at the early age of 5 is pretty bad. And then to be 13 and see your cousin kill his wife, like actually witness a murder, that's pretty horrible. That doesn't justify what he's done, but that's pretty crazy. It sounds like both him and his cousin had some issues, both of them. Dropping out of school in the 9th grade, Ramirez was arrested for the first time in 1977 for marijuana possession. He soon moved to California, progressing to cocaine addiction and burglary, and cultivating an interest in Satanism. He was arrested twice in the Los Angeles area for auto theft in 1981 and again in 1984, and noticeably began to neglect his personal hygiene. Oh wow, you must have had to really neglect that for it to be noticeable, right? Night Stalker cuts his path. Theft turned to violence with Ramirez. First known murder on June 28th, 1984. The victim was 79-year-old Jenny Vinco, who was sexually assaulted, stabbed, and killed during a burglary in her own home. What followed was a spree of brutal murders, rapes, and robberies, leaving dozens of victims in its wake. Ramirez next struck nearly 9 months later on March 17th, 1985. He attacked Maria Hernandez, who managed to escape, and then killed her roommate, Daily Okazaki. Not satisfied with these assaults, he also shot and killed. I'm butchering this name, I'm sorry. It's Sai Lian Yu. The same evening, spurring a media frenzy that saw Ramirez dubbed the Valley Intruder by the press. Just 10 days later, on March 27th, Ramirez murdered 64-year-old Vincent Zazura and Zazura's 44-year-old wife, Maxine, using an attack style that would become a pattern for the killer. Wow, okay. The husband was shot first, then the wife was brutally assaulted and stabbed to death. In this case, Ramirez also gouged out Maxine Zazura's eyes. Wow, so like, yeah, he was really, really twisted then, because that's just, I mean, these satanic rituals. Yeah, in American Horror Story, I think it showed a lot. I believe it showed him doing like a lot of satanic rituals and whatnot, and definitely like hailing and praising Satan. The Los Angeles Police Department responded by putting together a dedicated task force with the FBI stepping in to assist. I mean, why didn't they do that in the beginning when he was already killing like 3 or 4 people? But okay. The relentless media and police pressure, aided with descriptions from his surviving victims, forced Ramirez to leave the LA area that August. He journeyed north to San Francisco, where he took 2 more victims, Peter and Barbara Pan. On August 17th, his unmistakable MO, complete with satanic symbolism, meant that the Valley Intruder moniker was no longer applicable. The press quickly coined a new name, the Night Stalker. As most of his assaults took place at night in his victims' homes. It says Ramirez's actions on his final night of terror. On August 24th, 1985, soon led to his capture. First, he was spotted outside a Mission Viejo home, where he unwittingly left a footprint before the witnesses took note of his car and license plate. Later, after Ramirez raped another woman at her home and shot her fiancé, the victim provided a detailed description of her assailant, who had forced her to swear her love to Satan. That's disturbing. Ramirez's abandoned car was found a few days later, complete with enough of a fingerprint to make a match, and his criminal record enabled the police to finally put a name to the Night Stalker. National TV and print media coverage featuring his prison photo, along with a series of clues from witnesses and survivors, led to Ramirez's capture on August 31st. His picture from when he was taken in, his mugshot, it's kind of creepy. Like, he doesn't look crazy. I mean, I guess there's no real look for a crazy person, you know? But he has like blood on his nose and his forehead, and looks like a little bit on his chin. And I mean, he doesn't look like a bad guy. Like, that's what's scary about a lot of this. A lot of people don't. I mean, they just look, you know, everybody looks normal, but it's just kind of hard to believe that, like, wow, you know, it could be anybody. Trial, conviction, and sentencing. Ramirez waited in his jail. In jail as his trial was continuously pushed off. The delay marked by a series of motions and bickering between the prosecutors and defense attorney, because the geographical spread of the crimes also complicated the scope of the trial with jurisdictional issues. Some of the charges against Ramirez were dropped in order to expedite what was becoming a long journey to justice. Wow, that's ridiculous. So because that was, I guess, because he committed the crimes in like multiple areas, it paused a lot of stuff. That's gotta love America's system here. Gotta love it. The jury selection process finally moved forward on July 22nd, 1988, and the trial itself commenced the following January. During this time, Ramirez attracted a cult-like following of supporters, many of whom were black-clad Satan worshippers. Of course. Ramirez himself often dressed in black, along with dark shades for his courtroom appearances. Yet another delay occurred when one juror was found murdered on August 14th, 1989. Oh my gosh. On September 20th, 1989, the jury finally returned a unanimous guilty verdict on 43 charges, including 13 counts of murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, 11 sexual assault charges, and 14 burglary charges. 2 weeks later, the same jury recommended the death sentence on 19 counts. Leaving the courtroom, Ramirez responded, "Hey, big deal. Death always comes with the territory. I'll see you in Disneyland." Wow, this guy was really messed up in the head. Like, it gives me chills. Like, how can somebody kill that many people and have like no mercy or no remorse? Not even towards the end. The convicted murderer was formally sentenced to death in the gas chamber on November 7th, 1989, and was sent to San Quentin prison in California to spend the remainder of his days. Final years, death, and legacy. While incarcerated, Ramirez married one of his supporters. Oh my gosh. 41-year-old Doreen Lioy. I don't know, it's Lioy. In 1996, his long-awaited appeal finally made it to the California State Supreme Court in 2006 before being rejected. Ramirez was eventually linked to more vicious crimes in 2009. A DNA sample connected him with the April 10th, 1984 rape and murder of a 9-year-old girl in San Francisco. Wow, so that family never got closure until 2009. Like, they didn't know who killed their little girl. And I was gonna say, it kind of seemed like his killings were just very random, like those various ages, and then he gets a 9-year-old little girl. After nearly 24 years on death row, Richard Ramirez died on June 7th, 2013, at the age of 53 from complications related to B-cell lymphoma. According to San Quentin corrections officers, Ramirez's death came shortly after he was taken to Marin General Hospital in Green Bay, California. As with other infamous killers, this is where it addresses American Horror Story. As with other infamous killers, the tales of Ramirez's gruesome actions have fueled creations in art and popular culture. His character was featured in a 2015 episode of the FX series American Horror Story, and the following year, it dramatized, I can't speak right now, I'm sorry, version of his life was the focus of A&E's The Night Stalker, starring Lou Diamond Phillips. Oh wow. That's crazy. So they addressed him, like they said, in an older episode. In the new season, they made like a whole thing about him. So, that's crazy. Let me look up his wife. Like, I wonder what she looks like. Let's see. Doreen. Oh, yeah. Best known for being the former wife of serial killer Richard Ramirez. She was a magazine editor. It says she was madly in love with the murderer Richard Ramirez. It says, Doreen did not believe these accusations, saying that Richard is kind, funny, and charming. know, it's crazy because the guy that they got to play Richard Ramirez in American Horror Story actually kind of resembles the real Richard Ramirez. Let's look up now before this ends. Let me look up, I guess, a few facts about Richard Ramirez. Top 10 disturbing facts about the Night Stalker. Number 1. He witnessed severe violence in childhood. In 1960, Ricardo Richard Ramirez was born in El Paso, Texas. Okay. It says during his childhood he would sleep in a cemetery at night to get away from the violence he suffered at the hands of his father, Julian Ramirez, a former Mexican policeman. Okay. So, and then it mentions like his cousin Mike Ramirez, Miguel, which is the one that he witnessed kill his wife. And then it also mentions, his cousin killed his wife. It says during a domestic argument, he shot her in the head with a .38 caliber rifle. Mike was not found guilty by reason of insanity, and he was also never punished for his war crimes. Wow. Number 9. Tell them the Night Stalker was here. That's like a quote, I guess. It says, the brutality of Ramirez's crimes shocked the county. He had stabbed the 7-year-old woman, 13 more. Oh, he would crawl through the windows or try unlocked doors. Dress in all black, yes. Victims very ages and race. Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay, so he chillingly told one survivor, tell them that the Night Stalker was here. His reign of terror had truly begun. Number 8. He misunderstood AC/DC lyrics. It was believed that Ramirez misunderstood the lyrics to a track featured on the band's Highway to Hell album released 5 years before the killings began. Okay, number 3 or 4, I don't know, number 7. It says number 7. He was not the original Night Stalker. Before Ramirez, there was another serial killer known as the Night Stalker, who equally terrorized California with his brutal killing spree in Northern California from 1976 to 1979 and Southern California from 1979 to 1986. Okay, number whatever this is. He has one of the reasons Hotel Cecil is so creepy. I never even heard of that. Cecil. It says there have been many mysterious and disturbing goings on at the Cecil Hotel, known as Stay on the Main in downtown Los Angeles, since its opening in 1927. Known as the Hotel of Horrors. I've never heard of that before. I need to look into that. The 300-bedroom hotel made national news once again when the body of Canadian student Elsa Eliza Lamb, was found in a water tank on the rooftop. Wow. Ramirez stayed at the hotel during his killing spree. Okay, number 5. His rotten teeth were fixed before he appeared in court. Okay, so in sketches, it was detailed that he had bad teeth, rotting teeth, like gaps and stains, but they were fixed. 3, whatever. He showed off his Satanism in the courtroom. Is that how you pronounce Satanism? Satanism? I don't know. He has, in the picture, he has, the stars of the star, whatever that is in his hand. Well, I guess that was pretty much it for that Richard Ramirez. I mean, I'm really blown away by that. I did not know all that about the Night Stalker or Richard Ramirez, who was in American Horror Story. That's just wow. American Horror Story has actually taught me something. Recommend. Very creepy, very disturbing. If you're not into that, don't watch it, because it is kind of, like I said, creepy, scary, twisted, sick, all of the above. I really don't know why I watch it. murders and whatnot that he committed. So if you enjoyed this video and would like to hear or see, or if you'd like me to do more true crime videos or facts or anything